Obviously, it's good to win the game, and I told the players in the locker room, I don't care what it took. There's 1 minute and 58 seconds left with one timeout, and anything that happened in that game, throw it out, just go play and find a way to win the game, and we did. That's a good team. Their head coach does a good job. Their defense coordinator does a good job, offense coordinator. I think the quarterback's really a good player. Yeah, I think he's talented. He can run, he can throw it. I think he's an NFL player. And we won the game, and we found a way to win the game. We will play better. And if we clean stuff up in these 2 games, and I will get it right. We are a good football team. This is a damn good team. And we have a penalty here, a penalty there. We keep them in the game. 2 weeks in a row, we've kept teams in the game. And it's not going to work like that. It's not. But we will clean that up, and we will win games. We're good up front. We have good skilled players, and we have a good defense. And it needs to show. So I'm thrilled we won. I'm proud of the team. But that stuff is going to end. And hear me loud and clear. We are going to win games. And I cannot wait to get back to work. Questions?
10 penalties, 109 yards, along those same lines.
Yeah, composure. 3rd and 20, game over. Probably go up 14, 21 points. Hands to the face. Know the down and distance, get your hands down, period. Right? We're driving at the end of the game. There's a miscue on the snap count. We jump off sides. That's game over. I would have went for it on 4th down again. They weren't going to stop us for 2 yards. That's why I went for it on the 4th and 2 or whatever it was. And the reason I called the timeout, because it was 4th and inches, then he moved the ball back, right? Then I saw it was 4th and 2, and then I said, all right, we're going to punt it. And then I said, you know what? No, they haven't stopped us all day. We're going to go for it. But we got to clean that up. At the end of the game, we had a personal foul that should have been on the 9-yard line. That's not how I coach. I'm going to do things the right way I always have. That's not how I coach. Guys who do that, they're not playing, period. That stuff needs to be cleaned up. Pass interferences, a holding call here or there. We're not going to have late hits out of bounds. We're not going to have personal fouls. We're not going to let people bait us into doing anything. We're going to play in between the whistles. And I've stressed that, and I've stressed it real hard. But some guys aren't listening, so they're not going to play. So when we clean this up, and we will, we're going to be really good. Because it's all self-inflicted. And that should, no disrespect to that team. That's a good team. That is not a 3-point game if we do that stuff.
Coach Castellanos has a taunting penalty. How do you address that in the locker room?
He's not going to play if he does it. We're not doing it. And that's exactly what I told him when he came off the field. It's not happening. Tomorrow's, everything is going to be about that. I don't allow that to happen. I preach about that constantly. That's not getting through, so now they won't play if that happens. And I'm not making excuses. That is not happening. Next question.
Coach, first half in particular, the offensive line, you mentioned they've been playing well. I wanted to ask specifically about Ozzie and Christian Mahogany. They looked like they were working in tandem. Just straight with the running game, just how is that getting successful and getting gashing in the first half?
It's 2 weeks in a row. We're rushing for 5-6 yards at a time, right? And that's what it needs to be. Those are good players, and we have good backs. And the holes are there. I thought Kai ran the ball really well. He's a bright spot today. He ran hard. He put his shoulder pads down, and he ran through tackles like he should against that team. And we should be able to run the ball for 4, 5, 6 yards a clip against that team. And at the end of the game, we should have won. That lightning delay shouldn't have happened, because if we don't go backward, they don't stop us running the ball. We should have scored every single possession if they're not self-inflicted. And that has to be this team's mentality now as we get going.
Concerned about the rush defense?
No, I'm not concerned about it. There's things that I saw. There's things we need to fix, but we got real good players and we have good scheme.
What did you guys do during the delay?
Oh God, what didn't we do? That was a first for me. The first thing I addressed the team. I walked around, talked to each position group. I just wanted to get guys back in a good headspace. We were winning the game by 3 points, and I wanted them to act like it. And I wanted them to get their mindset ready that when we were going out, we were going to win it. We fed them. We tried to keep them warm. Their shirts and stuff were soaked. We tried to do the best that we could to keep them loose. We met with them on game plan for potential 2-minute, potential end of game, potential overtime. So we kept talking to them. And then guys talked amongst themselves. A couple players called them up and spoke. And then we went back out, obviously, and played. But it felt like another game sitting in there.
Coach, you said last week you couldn't fully gauge how the offensive line played because of the lack of identity in the offense.
Say that one more time.
Because of the lack of identity that the offense had, what was your assessment of the offensive line today?
I think we could have ran the ball for 6 yards a clip, and we could have scored every single possession if we didn't go backward. I think they did a damn good job. I do. I'm excited to watch the film and see what that looked like. And that needs to be a strong point for us. The more they play together, the better that they'll get. Broom was out today. He'll be back next week. Pat went out early with an ankle. And then Kai kind of took over. So I thought they blocked really well. I thought they protected really well. Just some uncharacteristic things. And I gotta do a better job with some of the young guys and really talk to them one-on-one on what it's got to look like. And that's something that I thought about a lot at the end of the game. Some of these young guys making these mistakes and these penalties, we got to clean that up.
You're two games in with some new coaches. Can you just talk about the assessment of the coaching staff overall? And if you had to be your worst critic, what would you say?
Undisciplined penalties. And I'll put that on me, and it's got to go right down to our position coaches. We got to talk to these guys and teach these guys and show them what's acceptable and what's not. And ultimately, I won't play players who are going to do it. I thought our O-line I believe Coach Applebaum's doing a really nice job with the offensive line. Really nice job. They're in sync. Listening to him on the headsets, he's a step ahead. He's got plans. He's talking to Coach Chud and Coach Shimko. I thought the offensive coaches did a better job this week than they did last week. Defensively, there's some things we got to clean up. I would have thought we would have contained the quarterback better. We had done that in the past, so I am disappointed there. So I'll take a strong look at that with the defensive coaches. We'll judge this film tomorrow, and I'll have a better idea.
You said you reminded them that they were up by 3 and they should act like it. We were up there and we saw the Holy Cross players going off and they were kind of celebrating when they went off the lane. What did you see that made you think they needed that reminder?
We were winning the game.
No, I mean, what did you see from your players that you felt the need to remind them that act like you're winning?
Yeah, they looked a little down, and I needed to pick them back up. They had momentum, but we were winning the game, and they needed to act like it, and they needed to understand we need to go out back there and stop them, and not be passive in attack. Maybe my gut feeling, I guess.
Coach, did you have any idea that the weather was coming in like that?
Yeah, it's why I took the ball. I thought it would come in. I tracked it all day. I thought it would come in a little bit sooner. Depends which app you use. There's a different time for the rain to start. So I took the ball thinking we'd get a cleaner possession earlier in the game, wanted to start fast and go down and score, and I thought maybe the second half would be rainy and sloppy. And then at one point, our ops people told me that rain was coming, and then I was told to get into the locker room. So
You've never been in a weather delay?
when I was with the Bucks in preseason games, it happened quite a bit, but it was always in preseason games.
What did you see on the fumble recovery at the end?
I didn't have a great look at it. My eyes were downfield because that's what my eyes gravitate to. I don't just follow the ball. And I think it was John set the edge, and then I think he hit it out and Vinny recovered it. And then that's so far to the boundary where it's hard for me to see if we recovered or not. So I just asked Sean up above, and he said we had it.
Jeff, just comment on Kai, go back to Kai a little bit. I think he had like 3 receptions. A lot of contact, and he kept running. I mean, he got a lot of yards after contact.
Yeah, he's a bigger back. We needed a bigger back. I was proud of him. I thought in camp he ran a little high, and I'm not knocking him. I've told him that sitting in this room. He needs to lower his pads and run his feet, and he's a hard back to tackle, especially when the holes were big like they were, and it's second-level defenders trying to tackle him. They shouldn't be able to bring him down one-on-one. But you could see the inner drive that he had today, and I think he has a chance to be a really good player. I like the way that he ran today, and he should do that on a day like this.